Hey there. Welcome. Today we are talking about 5 tips to planning out your new ultrasound business. And this episode is brought to you by our brand new deep dive workshop that I'll be hosting on January 25th. Head over to our website at aic-ultrasound.com/workshops to learn more. It's going to be epic. I'm so excited about it. I can't wait to work with you on diving deep into your business planning. I'd love for you guys to make it live so we can workshop your business together. But of course, you'll be able to easily rewatch later as long as you register. So head over to the website and do that now. This episode that we're doing on the podcast today is going to give you a taste of what we'll be talking about inside that workshop. So let's get started on the 5 tips to planning out your new ultrasound business. Number 1, we have to pick our business model. I talk about the 8 kind of main business models that we have access to in the ultrasound industry over in our business blueprint course. And I want to lay out the super specifics there, but let's kind of break them down in general here for you. We're looking first at mobile ultrasound fee for service. So in this setup, you are providing services out into physician practices and the like. They are billing insurance directly. Your client is billing insurance directly, and you are charging a fee for providing those services in the office. The next option for a business model is a mobile ultrasound IDTF, or independent diagnostic testing facility. In that scenario, you are actually credentialed with insurance, so you're receiving your revenue directly back from the insurance companies. That means it's free for your physician practice to have you come in to provide the services because your revenue is coming directly from insurance. And there is a way to pay them fair market value rent for the space that you're utilizing. There's a specific Medicare calculation that you can use there. There's also, as another business model idea, is 3D ultrasounds. I've got lots of clients that are either starting as 3D and adding in diagnostics later, or starting as diagnostics and adding in 3D, or straight up starting 3D, and that is their main source of revenue. You can do this as a facility model where you have patients coming to a location of yours, or you can also do it as a mobile model, where you're out to patient homes and the like. You could also set this up easily as a hybrid as well. So where you're doing both a facility and a mobile option. The next business model I'd love to talk about really quickly is staffing services. Gosh, we all know, especially right now, healthcare staffing has gone awry. And so I've got tons of clients right now adding in staffing as an additional revenue stream for their services. But there's also the opportunity just to do that. In that scenario, you really just need yourself and a contract to be able to provide those services inside physician practices, imaging centers, hospitals, those types of places to provide staffing where they have a need for the staff. They've got the equipment there already. The other option is providing a facility location. So providing services in an actual facility where patients are coming to you. You can set this up as an IDTF. So just like we talked about for mobile, a facility IDTF would be one that is credentialed with insurance to be able to bill patients' insurances directly. Or you can also set it up as a self-pay facility location, catering to those with no insurance, high insurance deductibles, HSA plans, those types of things. Or you can also, that's an easy hybrid to put together as well, where you're doing both insurance services and self-pay. The next business model is providing services to nursing facilities. And so looking at the opportunity of working with nursing facilities, skilled nursing facilities, where you're providing mobile services out to their location. A lot of nursing facilities, the way they are set up, and this would of course be something you would find out during your sales process, going out and talking with these facilities, but a lot of times they are set up where they receive a lump sum from insurance for the patient that they are housing inside their skilled nursing facility. Out of that lump sum, they are then required to pay out of pocket, so to speak, for any of the services that that patient needs. So if they are, the patient needs an ultrasound, they would need to, the nursing facility would pay directly for transport to the hospital, the ultrasound service at the hospital. They would pay for the interpretation service from the hospital. And so that can run them a couple $1,000s by the time, all of that is added up. Whereas if you came in to provide a service and charged them directly for the services, you could charge a few $100s for the service. Huge cost savings there. So huge benefit to nursing facilities that are set up to receive payment in that way. You could also set it up, even if they are, set up to receive payments directly from each of the services they do, like a physician practice is, easily charge an hourly rate, just like you would in the mobile ultrasound fee-for-service business model. The last one that I wanted to talk about, and of course there are offshoots of different types of business models, but these are really the 8 main ones, is screening services. So this can be set up in a multitude of different ways. I've got clients that actually set this up where that is their main mode of revenue. So they are, I've got some really cool clients doing some cool things. So partnering with corporations to provide screening services directly to the corporation's employees, because when corporations provide preventive services, a lot of times they can save money on the healthcare costs that they are paying out to their insurance providers to provide health insurance to their employees. Such a cool business model option. There's also, of course, just general screening services that you can provide inside physician practices. Usually that would be more of a hybrid with other types of diagnostic services in that specific scenario. I really suggest, those are kind of the 8 overview of the 8 main business models, but my suggestion is to start with one or a hybrid of a couple that kind of makes sense to put together, like I was talking about 3D doing a facility and mobile, or a facility doing IDTF and self-pay together. You can easily make this more of your focus when you start with one or a hybrid of a few that would be easy to put together initially when you're starting up. You can always add on other services later, and I highly suggest this. You guys, if you've listened to me for any amount of time, know that revenue diversification, I talk about this as the best way to keep your business diversified, so that, if one stream of revenue takes a dip, right? There's always ebbs and flows in business. You still have other areas of revenue bringing money into your business. It keeps your business diversified in that way, and it keeps your revenue growing. There's multiple streams of revenue, multiple available revenue streams coming into your business. Some of the things I see sometimes, I've got some clients that get, tunnel vision, right? They want to start their business this way and only this way, this one specific way. And that is a huge detriment when things inevitably come up where they need to pivot a little bit, right? A little bit or a lot. Let's be real. When we're business owners, sometimes pivoting is the name of the game. So when we get tunnel vision and we say, okay, I want to start mobile ultrasound fee for service, here's exactly how I want to provide those services. Here's exactly what I want to do. And I'm not going to deviate from that. And if I have to deviate from that, it's going to crush my world, right? We have got to take the blinders off as business owners and understand that we need to have an idea of how we want to start, but we need to be open to growth and pivoting as problems, issues, roadblocks come into our way, as they inevitably will in business and life, right? I have other clients, though, that get so excited about the thought of diversifying their business and just all of the opportunities that they have access to, that they inadvertently sidetrack their progress because they're trying to do too many things at one time. They're trying to start mobile ultrasound fee for service and also be a mobile IDTF. And what if I also added in 3D, because I know there's not really a place local to me that has that opportunity, and I could also get a facility location. And then they start working on all of those things at the same time, and it takes them 10 times as long to just get started with the one thing. So my suggestion, my pro tip here is to find that kind of happy middle. Understand all that we have at our fingertips in the ultrasound industry. We have so many ways of making revenue that diversifying your business is key, but start with a niche, right? Start with that one thing, get that up and going, get that, streamlined and seamless, and then work your way out from there. Okay, tip number two in our 5 tips here today is research the heck out of the industry, right? When we're thinking about starting a new business or anything new, we want to binge everything we can to fill that knowledge gap. Whenever we start anything new at all, whether it's, I'm going to get into fitness now, or I'm going to, I really want to shore up my diet or things like that. Whenever we start something new, there's a knowledge gap that we have to fill. We need to learn more about the industry, the topic as a whole, to feel more confident in, what should our next steps be. And so, I know if any of you listening here have ever tried to Google how to start an ultrasound business, it's a rabbit hole, right? Can't find hardly anything. And what you do find just confuses you because it's, a little bit here and a little bit there. So I always joke that I want to be your Google for the ultrasound industry, for ultrasound business. So use this podcast. I've got free guides on our website. We've done multiple trainings over in our Facebook group. I've got some on Instagram. Use all of those things to get an idea of what the industry looks like. Gather information, start kind of getting an idea of what you think your business will look like once you have some basics, some information on the industry as a whole. So use the information that I have out there. I have so much free information for that specific purpose. That's literally why I started this podcast, was because it was so difficult to find any of that information anywhere. And I wanted to be the place that sonographers could go to find out more about the ultrasound industry and their potential that they have in starting their own business within it. All right, so research the heck out of the industry, number 2. Number 3, once you do that, once you kind of have an idea of, okay, here's kind of what the industry looks like, here's kind of the idea that I have for my potential business, now I need to set my business foundations. So number 3 is setting your business foundations. And what does that look like? So if we think about building a house, we want to have a firm foundation in that house, right? We want everything, all that's being built, to be built on that firm foundation. If we're building our house on a, lump of sand, when anything comes our way, right? Any kind of flood, any kind of inclement weather, the house is not going to stand sturdy like it should. And so I'm using that analogy to explain that when we start a business, we've got to set those firm foundations. We want a very firm foundation for that business to be laid upon. So what does that look like? What does a firm business foundation look like? And what do I need to do? Firstly, we need to do market research. We need to understand what our market looks like in our area to see if your business idea is viable, right? So we need to look more at, what does our target market look like? What does the market in general look like? How many physicians are there? I mean, this is going to alter based on your business model, and it's something that we'll dive deep into in the workshop that I'm talking about as well. Figure out too what our target market looks like and start kind of putting together an overview of what our sales and marketing process is going to be for that target market. And it'll be different based on your business model. If I'm starting a 3D business, my target market is completely different than if I'm starting a mobile ultrasound fee-for-service diagnostic business, right? In one, my target market is pregnant women. In the other, my target market is physicians. So your target market is going to be completely different based upon what your actual business model is. Now, next, you're going to want to figure out what our startup costs are going to be. How much is it going to cost for me for the startup phase of my business? And you'll also want to look at your ongoing business expenses as well. So when we start a business, we have those startup expenses, and then we also have expenses that it costs us to continue to run our business, like, of course, varies again based on business model, but rent, payment for our ultrasound machine, supplies, staff once we have them, those types of things, our ongoing, monthly business expenses. We want to know what that looks like so that we can forecast what we need to be bringing in. So this brings me to my next point, because it's just as important and more exciting than the expenses part, is figuring out what your revenue potential is going to be. How much revenue can I bring in from my business? Now, you guys know I talk about this all the time. We've got to figure out our revenue potential. Yes. So as an example, we'd figure out that in the mobile ultrasound fee for service business model, as an example, when we're setting our pricing, we're looking at industry average about 125 an hour. Okay. So one of the things we would do is set our pricing in this revenue model sample when you're looking at that. 125 an hour for an 8-hour day is $1,000 in gross revenue a day for a mobile ultrasound fee for service business. Now, there are usually 20 working days on average in a month. So the revenue potential, easy math here, for this type of business model is $20,000 a month. But hear me, it's $20,000 a month for one sonographer and one machine. When I'm the business owner, I have the capacity to add on as many revenue opportunities as I want. I just have to work toward them. So the actual revenue potential of any business that we own is unlimited. I'm going to say that again. The actual revenue potential of any business that we own is unlimited. We are not bound by how much our employer is willing to pay us. We are not bound by, we've climbed up the ladder at the hospital. We're now, director of radiology, and where do we go from there? We are not bound by any of those things when we are the business owner. Now, on the flip side, that means we have a lot more responsibility, but I will take that responsibility all day long in my business over the last 20 years to have the revenue potential be absolutely unlimited to me. And we've seen that growth in our own business. I've talked about this before. We started just like anybody else did. And I know sometimes you can look at people and say, oh gosh, they've got such an amazing business. How would I ever get there? Or gosh, they've been so lucky, or all of those things. And we start that comparison game. But I'm here to tell you, I started with an idea, just like you have. I started with an idea 20 years ago. And today, we consistently create a 7-figure business every single year upon year upon year upon year, because we have the mindset that we work it until it works. We pay attention to our market. We add in different opportunities for revenue diversification over the years. And I'm telling you that if I can do it, you can do it too. So we have the ability to build our businesses as we see fit. And that is truly the true beauty of business ownership. Okay, tip number 4. Now we have to plan for our startup. So we've set our business foundations. We know what that looks like. Now we've got to plan for our startup. So you're ready to launch your business at this point, right? Time to put together a business plan, time to start working towards getting all of our startup items in order. So this is, of course, going to be based on your business model, and it'll be different for each one. But in the startup phase, this is where we are incorporating our business, getting our contracts as an example, searching for an office space if we need one for our type of business model, all of the startup things. Now, shameless plug, if I had to do all this over again, I would hire a coach to help me with all of these things. And that's why I live and breathe our coaching division. When you start a business without a coach or without buying into a franchise, you are winging it no matter how you look at it. Able to be done? Absolutely. Of course it is. Will it take more time and cost a lot more money? Absolutely. And I am living proof of that. Working with someone that has already been there, that knows the exact path you need to take, that's going to be there to answer questions along the way, is worth its weight in gold. That's why I love working with our clients on starting, implementing, and growing their ultrasound businesses. So once we've got the startup kind of plan in place and we've launched our business, we really need a plan for implementation and growth. So this is step number 5. This is the part of the business I think so many people forget about. And it's why I have an entire module on it in our Ultrasound Business Academy. I tell my clients this all the time. The last module is operations and growth. And I have down literally to week by week what they need to be doing in their business to continue to grow, to continue to increase their revenue stream. Understanding how to implement your services, no matter what your business model, is absolutely essential. So knowing what systems to have in place, how you're going to roll out your services, what the day-to-day is going to look like. Do I need a PAC system? Do I need a scheduling system? All of those things, having all of that in some kind of SOP, as we call them, or standard operating procedures ahead of time is going to be so helpful for you. So highly recommend ensuring that you understand how you're going to implement your business, your services into your client or your patient's service, right? What we're actually providing to them. And then understanding how to create a strategic growth plan is very, very important. So you will also want to plan for growth and understanding how to set yourself up for success. So by knowing how to plan for our year, right? Breaking that down by quarter. What do I want my revenue to be at the end of 2023, right? As an example, if I know that and I set that standard, then I can break that down by quarter. What do I need to then have done financially every single quarter? Break that down by month, right? There's 4 quarters in a year, 3 months in each quarter. What do I need to do month by month to reach my quarterly goal? Then I can break that month down by week. And eventually that gets you to knowing exactly what you need to do every single day to continue to move your business forward. And depending on your business model, when you know the revenue that you need to make, you'll understand, okay, well, how many clients is that then? If I'm doing mobile ultrasound fee for service and I know that I am making $1,000 a day gross revenue, how many service days do I need per month to reach my monthly goal that reaches my quarterly goal that reaches my yearly goal? Same if you're doing, let's say 3D facility model or mobile model. If I know I'm making X per client, patient that I'm going to see, or that's coming into my office, and I know I need to make X per month to meet my quarterly goals, to meet my yearly goals, how many patients do I need to have coming in every single month? So it's easy to lay out the math when you do it that way. Okay, guys, that was a lot of information. It gets me super excited for this workshop that I am hosting on January 25th, because we are going to deep dive into the planning. We will have worksheets to go through. We're going to have a Q&A session. It's going to be so much fun. I don't want you to miss it. So head over and register over at aic-ultrasound.com/workshops. And notice I've made that plural because I am really hoping to do more of these throughout the year. I am so super proud of this community as a whole, of all of my clients over the course of this year. I can't wait to see what's in store for all of us in 2023. Until next time, as you know, I will be over here cheering you on. Bye-bye for now.